I mentioned that the wise men may not have been kings. It was in the 19th century that "We Three Kings of Orient Are," the hymn, became popular. And by the time we all came around into Sunday school, I think it helped to extend this perhaps urban myth that they were kings of some kind. But I think more important part of the story is the fact that they were stargazers, that they relied on astrology. So I want to just end this message this morning with a brief glimpse into the future of the church and what this message from Matthew may be telling us in this new year, this new calendar year, about where the church is being called by a God who looks way beyond us as Anglicans, as Lutherans, as Christians, much more into the depths of our hearts as human beings. What makes us tick inside, as opposed to our outer cloaks of denominational or religious structures and symbolic names. So if indeed these were astrologers and they relied on the star to guide them to God and to God's incarnation in Jesus, God coming to meet us on earth, what does that tell us? Perhaps the church needs to place itself in a slightly different worldview in terms of how it operates in this sense. What happens when we hear of somebody who's a tarot card reader or reads the stars or astrology? They're kind of out there, right? It's not something we might go running around advertising in the church. And yet, this story hits home that one of the most profound ways that men came from the East bearing expensive gifts, imagine the costs and the travel and all that they would have done, it relied on astrology. So let's be careful, folks, in this new year and as we envision the future of the church, not to judge others by a standard of which we think one needs to be Christian, let alone Anglican or Lutheran. Let's leave that up to God and just imagine the possibilities if we can become so open and so understanding that people of other religious highways that they take to God might be on a more exciting highway or a different highway from us, but not necessarily better or worse. The end result is that we're all on journeys towards God. And I hope we can take from this story this morning an openness to trust in our indigenous brothers and sisters, our Muslim friends, our Jewish friends, even friends who don't profess to have a religious stripe. That somehow God has room for all in God's kingdom, here on earth and in the world to come. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy Epiphany. May the light that attracted the wise men from the East, that attracted the shepherds to this mystery of birth, be upon us to open our hearts, to accept all that God has to offer in our lives, now and always. Amen.